Okay. Is that on? Okay. Hey everyone, it's me. Just wanted to do a video today to kind of make up for the one that I did a couple weeks ago that it started and then it got cut off. So I just wanted to finish the whole thing. So that's why I'm live on Facebook today. So hopefully if you're watching right now, that's awesome. If you're not, you can always check it out later. So, why am I here? Well, you know, today is Thursday, September 29th, and for most people, big deal, it's Thursday. For the coffee aficionados, it's National Coffee Day, so hope you all got your coffee. If you were one of the people yesterday celebrating National Beer Drinking Day, I hope you're not too hungover. But for me, the 29th of September is something entirely different. On this day 1 year ago, I was diagnosed with stage 4 metastatic breast cancer at the age of 34. That sucks. I had no idea I was sick. What had happened prior to my diagnosis earlier in the month, I was doing the color run in Duluth. That's a 5K run where they throw the colored cornstarch on you. Did that. After that, I didn't really feel very well, but I mean, why wouldn't you not feel good? I had just ran, I'm not a runner, and you're breathing in cornstarch, which isn't really good for you either. So after that, I just thought, well, God, no wonder I don't feel good. And I thought, you know, I'll go to bed, I'm gonna rest, I'll be fine, everyone else does this, not a big deal. But as the week went on, I wasn't getting any better, and I wasn't getting better, and I wasn't getting better until it was finally, it was the 24th of September, and I woke up with so much abdominal pain, I thought my gallbladder was kaput. So I went into my urgent care. They wheeled me directly to the ER. From there, they did an ultrasound of my gallbladder, and if you're aware of your anatomy in your body, your gallbladder is right next to your liver, so of course that was included in the ultrasound, and, you know, it turned out that my gallbladder was just fine, which is good, but there were so many lesions on my liver. Some of them were almost 6 centimeters in size, so that's pretty big. There were so many lesions in my liver they couldn't even count them all. So the doctor came back into the room I was in the ER, and she said that, well, you know, good news is your gallbladder's fine. Bad news is your liver has lesions that are pretty consistent with a metastatic cancer. So I think my heart probably stopped beating for about 5 seconds. I couldn't breathe. Was about ready to have a panic attack. It's a feeling that you never, ever want to feel. Nobody should ever be told that kind of news, ever. I was admitted into the hospital, and that really freaked me out too, because I could have gone anywhere up in the hospital, maybe into telemetry unit. They needed to monitor my heart, or Maybe I could have went to a medical floor. No, I went to the oncology/palliative care unit. And if you don't already know this, I do work for Essentia. I work in the hospice department. I'm a social worker, and I see patients in that unit. And to now be going from the worker going to see your patients to being that patient, I lost it. I bawled and bawled that whole night. I was so anxious. I was throwing up, and I couldn't stop dry heaving from anxiety. Finally got some Ativan, which was awesome. So thank you for those nurses who were working that night to help me out. Next day from there, I had a liver biopsy, which basically they give you a little bit of a local anesthetic, and they put a very large needle in your abdomen, which hurts like hell. And they took a biopsy, sent it off to the lab, and then I waited that whole weekend, and I prayed that whole weekend that it was a fluke, or they saw something wrong, or it was shadows or something. But I had my appointment. It was a year ago today, and then they told me that I had stage 4 breast cancer. And I went home, and I laid on my couch and I cried myself to sleep. I thought my life was over. I truly did not think I would be sitting here a year from then today talking to you. There was a girl I went to undergrad school with. Her name was Paula. And she was diagnosed with the exact same cancer that I have. This was back in 2013, I believe. And she died 3 weeks before I was diagnosed. And I was thinking about Paula, and I was thinking about my life, and I thought it was over. I thought it was done. But then, it took a few days, and I was just absolutely devastated. But then after that, I kind of picked myself up a little bit, and I looked in the mirror and I said, fuck it, I am not done. And I am going to give everything I can to this fight. So, started very aggressive cancer treatment. I started an initial 12 weeks of chemo infusions, Taxol and carboplatin, which are very hard on you. Most people that are diagnosed with cancer and they do chemo, they might only have one chemotherapy treatment a month for 6 months. I was doing it every single week for 12 weeks. All of my hair fell out between week 3 and week 4. If you remember knowing me from before this, before last year, you'd know that, my hair was over halfway down my back. And it was thick and it was gorgeous and I loved my hair. And when I lost my hair, I went to Fitgers in Duluth to have it cut, and I knew I had to do it because it was going to look really nasty if I didn't. And they helped me, and they cut my hair, and I cried the whole time. And I kept telling Sarah, the gal that cut my hair there, I'm like, it's not you, it's the situation. And they were so awesome there. So if you live in Duluth and you want to go get your hair done somewhere, I highly recommend that place. They're awesome. So I was doing that every week until about the second week of December. During that time, my dad drove 3 hours every Thursday morning to come and do chemo with me. Sometimes some of my aunts came along, my Aunt Kathy, my Aunt Janet, my Aunt Patty. It was just, I can't even thank you all enough for being there, you know, and just sitting there and watching TV with me. That was, nothing better. That was so awesome. They redid my scans. It was about the beginning of December last year. Bad news. My chemo, while nothing was growing, nothing shrank either. So they took me off the infusions. They put me on an oral chemotherapy called carboplatin that I had to take 4,000 milligrams every day for 2 weeks on, and then you take a week off and you do it all over again. And they're horse pills. So taking 8 horse pills a day that are going to make you sicker than hell, that's, yeah, sucks. They also started me on a hormone suppression regime. My type of cancer is an estrogen positive. So basically what that means is estrogen is making my cancer grow. So I have to take suppressors so my tumors don't grow or come back. So that puts you on, puts you in menopause, which sucks. My heart completely goes out to every woman who is going through and ever been through menopause. My hats are off to you because it sucks. You have hot flashes in the middle of the night. You have hot flashes at random times of the day, and there's sweat pouring off of you. And you should not be doing that when you're 35 years old. It's horrible. So I went through all of that. They redid scans in about February. Things were starting to improve. Did scans again in April. Things were improving further. That's when my doctor decided, let's stop the chemo. Let's keep doing the hormone stuff. Let's see how the summer goes. Okay, fine by me. I didn't want to really take it anymore either. It made me feel like shit. So, I went all summer just on hormone suppressors. They did some scans again in, end of June, I believe. Oh, my days all run together. Things were still looking okay, and then at the beginning of the month, I did scans again, and things were still continuing to look pretty good. So my doctor decided at the beginning of September he felt confident enough to put me in remission, which is pretty awesome. I didn't think in a million years that would happen for me. So basically right now what that means for me is the initial tumor that they found in my breast is gone. They don't see any lesions anymore in my liver. Those are gone. I still have quite a few bone tumor spots on my ribs. I have quite a few of them on my ribs, especially on my right side. I have a couple on my spine, around my T9 area, which is the middle of your back. So they're still there, but they're healing, they're not growing. It takes a long time for that to go away. So I still have quite a bit of pain every now and again. I can have a couple days where I feel fine. I just look like any other normal person. And then I have days like yesterday when I wake up and I am in so much pain with my bone tumors and my joints. And I'm talking all of my joints. I'm talking my ankle bones and my toes and my fingers. Everywhere in your wrists, your neck, everywhere. Every body part that can move, you can have pain in, and there are days where I'm in so much pain that I don't get out of bed until like this time of the day. And I don't like that either because I like to be out and doing stuff. So that's kind of where some of that is at. Kind of what I'm up to right now. I stopped working full-time in July. That was definitely one of the hardest things I ever had to do, because I love my work and I love being a social worker and I like being there for other people. And so I stopped working full-time. I'm just working on call right now, so I work an average of maybe 4 days a month. In fact, I'm working tomorrow, so everyone at hospice, I'll see you in the morning. Another thing I did is, really thinking about work and that kind of thing. I decided to apply for disability. That, again, was really hard for me to do because, there's a lot of stigma with being on disability, and it's not good stigma. People think you're lazy. People think you're ripping off the government. I could think of a plethora of other things going on, and I decided, you know what? No. I paid my taxes for the last 20 years, and that's why I paid them, and if I need to take a couple years and do this for me, I'm doing it. So, if you don't like it, tough. So I'm going to do that. Looking at doing some volunteer work. I'm partnering up with a company down in Minneapolis called Pathways. They are a nonprofit organization that works with people that are in my situation, and other pretty serious medical stuff. And they work with people just on everything from finding basic resources to, how to move forward in your life after you have something really, really devastating happen to you, like I did. So I am working on being a facilitator for a group called Renewing Life. And what that is about, it takes people like me who have been in a similar situation, and we look at, how do you reinstill hope in your life after you feel like your life is over. So I'm going to be doing that, and I'm really looking forward to it. And And then just other things, you know, I'm really looking at, you know, have you ever thought in life when, let's say you want to go travel somewhere and you're like, oh, I just can't do it right now. I'll do it another day. I'll do it in a couple years. You know, maybe when the work situation is better. But the point is, you always put it off. And I did that for so many years. And I'm not doing that anymore. If I want to go do something, I do it. Like next month, I'm taking a trip out west for a week to visit some friends, and I can't wait to go out there again. You know, really taking time to, you know, if I want to go see my family, or if I want to go spend a day somewhere, I'm going. So I look forward to doing a lot of those things that I had always put off for before. And so I'm looking forward to doing a lot of that too. You know, I had asked some people, you know, if you have questions or anything you want to know, you know, email me. I'll try to answer them. And yes, Kim, I bring you on a lot of my adventures. That's for another video. Anyway, so some of questions that people had asked me, one of them is, how do you feel about the rest of your life knowing that you have stage 4 cancer? And, you know, right now, I'm just kind of at the point of, you know what, the future is not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed for me. It's not guaranteed for anyone else. I'm going to go out every single day and live my life for today. I don't think about, like, what a prognosis. I mean, obviously, we all know that when someone tells you you have metastatic cancer, it's not good news. There is no cure. If you go online and look at the statistics, they're alarming and very scary. And so I don't do that. I've already discussed with my doctor that, you know, we're going to go forward and do everything we can to keep me here as long as I can, and if it ever gets to a point where there's no more and I'm done, then I'm done. But for right now, I'm just gonna keep going, living my life as normally as I can. So that's what I'm doing. Another question was, what is on your bucket list? Oh, there's a couple things on there. One, anyone who knows me knows that I do have a soft spot in my heart for vehicles and fast cars, and I haven't driven anything smaller than a supercharged V6 in years. My current car is an SS. So my hope is one day I want to buy a Ford Mustang with a 5.0, and I just want to go screaming down the highway. Why? Because I can. So I really want a nice Mustang. You know, I really want to travel. I would love to go do volunteer work for a month over in Vietnam. I think something like that would be really cool. I think going over to Europe and visiting would also be really cool. No, Kim, we're not going skydiving, I promise. So, you know, I'd like to travel more and do some of that. Another question was, did I have genetic testing, and what are my thoughts about genetic testing? I did have genetic testing. The they thought for sure I was going to flag for something, especially since in my mom's side of the family, my grandma had colon cancer. I have one aunt that also had breast cancer, a second aunt that had lung cancer, a third aunt that had a rare bone cancer, and I also have another cousin who's been fighting non-Hodgkin's lymphoma for a number of years. Hey Levi, how's it going? So they thought for sure I was going to flag with something, and I didn't. There is no genetic disposition to what I have. It's a fluke, which is crazy. My thoughts on other genetic testing, if you have a really strong family line of breast cancer and women in your family are dying very young from breast cancer or ovarian cancer, it might not hurt to go get tested. It's just let's see, what did they do with me? They took like 2 vials of my blood, and they sent it off to a company in California, I think. So it was really non-invasive. My genetic testing was covered by my insurance. So I think the insurance companies are getting a little bit better with that. It's not anything. They're getting better about it, I guess I'd want to say. Susie, I had the cancer after my diagnosis. One thing I had done earlier, just doctoring with my primary care doctor, was, talking about all of the cancer history in my family, and we thought about, maybe because of your history, because you do have an aunt with breast cancer, why don't we do your first mammogram at 35? We'll get a baseline. We'll go from there. And obviously I didn't make it to 35. So that's that. I've had a lot of people ask me from time to time, are you having a benefit? When is your benefit? Who's doing it for you? And honestly, I don't know. My mom, some of my family was gonna kind of do it, but then my grandma passed away in June, so that's taking a lot of time with going through my grandma's estate, getting her house ready to sell, going through all of her things and selling them or donating them. So that kind of took a little bit away. I'm totally open to having a benefit. I could certainly use the money, just, pay rent and that sort of thing, and just be comfortable instead of thinking, how am I going to pay my electric bill next month? Which I think I have that figured out, I hope. So yeah, if anyone wants to have a benefit for me, tell me your ideas and tell me a date, and I can help tell everyone else, and I think it's great. I'd love to have one. In the last year, there have been so many people that have basically dropped almost everything to be there from time to time for me. First, I want to thank my mom and my dad. I would have not have survived the last year if it wasn't for their complete and utter support for everything. Like I said, my dad came with me to every chemo infusion I had at the hospital. And mind you, that was during some primary hunting time for him, so that's a big deal for him to do that. My mom, I just, being able to just call her and cry and know it was okay. She helped make sure that my fridge was fully stocked all the time. So that was, you know, just, there's so many things that they did that I can't even, there's so much. All I can say is thank you. And I love you from the bottom of my heart. My brother Steve, oh my God, you're a rock star. Again, I couldn't have done any of this without you either. Just upping the big brother status was really good. So thank you for that. His wife, Rachel, she's wonderful. Rachel, I love you too from the bottom of my heart. I know in the last year, you know, your mom died from cancer too last March, and I know that's been super hard on you going through that, and then what I'm going through, it was kind of the double whammy that you never wanted. But you've been there too, so thank you so much. My nieces and my nephew, Courtney, Brenna, Mikey, you guys make me laugh all the time, and I love you all to pieces, and I hope that you know that. My best friend, Kim, I don't know where I would be if you were not in my life. You know, you've been my best friend for over 16 years, and not many people get to say that they've had a best friend for that long. So thank you, because I don't know what I would do without you. You're not a pain in the ass. And all of my other friends too, there's so many of you. I can't name all of you because I know I'm gonna forget someone, and I don't want to do that, but you know, all of you have been there in your own little way, and I can't thank you guys enough here either. I also want to give big kudos to Peggy Anderson and the Circle of Hope in Duluth. If you're not familiar with them, Circle of Hope is a nonprofit in Duluth that works with women that have metastatic breast cancer. They are fabulous. They have done so much for me. Whether they've been quietly supporting me in the shadows, or they've given me some money to help pay my rent when I wasn't working. You know, they're such a great organization. I can't thank Peggy and the board enough for what they do. They are awesome people. Also want to thank the staff at Essentia Health, particularly everyone that works on 3 East, everyone who works in the cancer center, whether you are checking me in for my appointments, or you're the gals working back in the infusion center, Dr. Friday, the whole department. You guys are awesome. I can't thank you enough for what you do. And also the hospice department at Essentia. My God, you guys, when I started working there in July of 15, and then 2 months later, I'm given this awful diagnosis. You guys barely know who I am, and you did everything to support me. And my God, you guys are angels from heaven. I don't know what I would have done without you in the last year. You're all just wonderful people. And then also to give some props to the American Cancer Society. They've done really great things for me and other people like me. Toby, who's one of the representatives that works at Essentia, you're awesome. She gave me a wig. I'm sorry I didn't like how it looked on me. I only wore it once, and then I just went back to wearing hats all winter. But it was the thought that, you know what, you were there and you tried, and you knew how much that losing my hair, how devastating that was for me. So thank you. And there's another one that's a pretty big deal. They're more of a national group. They're called the Young Survival Coalition. And they work with women that are under 40 that have breast cancer. And they do a lot of special kudos for the ladies that have metastatic breast cancer. And, you know, they've sent me some things, some goodie baskets and that kind of thing in the mail, and they're a really great organization too. So, so that's kind of who I want to thank that I can think of. If I didn't think of you and you're saying, why didn't you thank me? Thank you. You know, I don't know what else I wanted to say except thank you for being there for me for the last year. Thanks for watching, if you're watching right now. If you're gonna go back and watch it later, if you didn't catch all of it, that'd be great too, so thanks. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna wrap this up. Thank you all for watching. Remember that October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. It's a really big deal to me. So if there's anything that you can get out and support, that would be awesome. You know, getting a hold of Circle of Hope and making a small donation, they'd be thrilled with it. I know they'll do the Make Strides Against Breast Cancer walks are all going to be coming up and that sort of thing. So if you know someone who's fundraising for that, you know, give them a few bucks. Because let me tell you, there's not enough money being put into metastatic breast cancer research. They make strides every day with finding different treatments that work, but it's not enough. And so if you can do something to help, that would be really great. So, alright, have a good evening, and if you have anything you want to tell me, just put it in the comments or send me a private message, and I'll talk to you all soon. Okay.